What's going on, vloggers, bloggers, and everyday other users? So I was looking through my last video, and I was trying to figure out where my timetable was of what was going on and everything like that. And I can remember when you talking about me leaving this one girl for Victoria, but I feel like I got kind of sidetracked. So let's start from the beginning of an evil bitch named Victoria. So I think it was when it was when I had this apartment with Brittany. I ended up moving out, or no, she moved out, and I kept the apartment. And Tom Sutton, sorry, I didn't use a man full name, had moved in, and what do you call it? By then, I remember there's this night we were just getting drunk and just hanging out and stuff like that. The fuck was that? Oh, somebody messaged me on Facebook. But yeah, we were just hanging out, drinking some beers and shit like that. And then I remember he was talking about Victoria, and then I was like, yeah, dude, she's really sexy and all this other stuff. And I should guess I just started messaging her and stuff like that. And so we started hanging out. Still working third shift at the time and everything. Man, this is a long story that I'm going to try and make short. So, but yeah, so a couple days go by, I start messaging, talking about random stuff and, talking about music, blah, 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 basic relationship crap. And then I remember, what do you call it? Probably about maybe a month down, we were hanging out and, we're just doing stuff. And I remember she kept disappearing. It'd be like 2 weeks, she'd just vanish or something like that, and then she'd pop back up and stuff like that. So well, I got to the point where we actually ended up started dating. I remember because I was inside the cooler at Sam's Club when I was working, and I was like, date me, and she said yes please, and then before you know it, we started dating. And she'd come over and hang out, and we'd do stuff and everything like that. It was just normal at first and everything like that. And then we'd be hanging out, and in the middle of us hanging out, she'd be like, I gotta go. And be like, okay, whatever. And then it kind of clicked on my head. I mean, something's going on. And I finally got to hang out with her one night, and she was like, oh, I got brain fart. But yeah, like I was saying, it was we finally got to talking. I was like, "There's something going on. It's got to be something." It's just like, "Oh, I'm a heroin addict," and I was like, "Okay." Not trying to be judgy, even though that should just be a deal breaker for everybody. But me. And then she was just like, "Oh, is that it for us?" And I was like, "No, I want to try it." Because I'm a fucking dumbass. And so she shot me up, and there you go. It was just the whole entire thing. And before you know it, it was this thing where I didn't really just do drugs all the time, but that was kind of our thing, the linchpin of our relationship, if you would say, even though it was a horrible fucking relationship when it came down to it. But she'd come over and she'd be like, oh, let's do some drugs together, and then we do drugs together and stuff like that. But yeah, it kind of went on like that for a couple weeks and stuff like that. I don't know. It was weird because I had just broken up with Jamie, and fucking Tom was obsessed with Jamie and going back and forth, and she was fucking using him, and she used me and broke up with me and was with another guy. And so Tom was going through the whole entire rigmarole of that shit when I was just kind of doing my own thing. And then I was just already with Victoria at the time, so it was probably about a month down the road when I started to realize I was starting to get sick and stuff like that. So, like dope sick. And that's when I was like, hey, I can't just sit around and wait for you to pick me up drugs. I mean, give me your dealer's number. I can go do this. I can do this. I've got money. Come on. Because like I'd be sick as balls, and then all of a sudden she would pop up, fucking throw me a shot, and then dip off for like 2 days. And you can't just do that because you have to be constantly using not to be sick when you're a full heroin user. I mean, like, what was going through my head when all this stuff was going on? Trying new things, wanting to branch out and stuff like that. I was very selfish back then because I had a son and everything, Wesley, of course, but I mean, all I did was take care of Wesley and work and then sleep and then do it all over again. I'd had Wesley when I was 19, 20 maybe, and I was sitting there like 24, 25 years old, and I wasn't able to go out and do cool things and do the things that people did, and I made this selfish ass choice that I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do. But here's the thing: when you have kids, it's not your life anymore. It's their life, and it took me a while to figure that out. That's why I'm making these videos, kind of like hashing over what was going on. But I was very selfish at the time. But still, either way, like I was saying, so before you know it, I had talked Victoria into giving me her dealer, and we were just doing drugs on the regular. I remember it being like very euphoric, if I could say a word, where we just hang out, shoot dope, and then just like bask in the open sun on the nice summer morning, and and hang out. And I think that's what like got me so in tuned to like loving her so much, was that like we always had great sex, we always just hung out, like we always just nodded off together and just had a great fucking time either way. I mean, in the sense of like what a heroin addict would think, or something like that, or what my delusional sense of what a relationship was supposed to be at that time. And so, the days went on, and at this point, I'm a full-on addict and everything like that. At this point now, it's like it's going through the shits, and out of nowhere, she kind of just stops talking to me and stuff. I remember I was living in this apartment that I had with Brandy, and I was paying rent and everything like that, but I mean, I was also working my third shift job. I was still taking care of Wesley at the time, and I didn't kind of realize that I was in like like full blown heroin addiction until where I was just blowing, because a gram is $120. I was just blowing like $300, $400, $500 every other week and everything like that. It's just ridiculous. And like Victoria didn't talk to me in like weeks. She's always just obsessed with her ex-husband Tom, or her husband. I don't fucking know anymore. But like, she would pop up, we'd do dope together, she'd disappear, have sex, whatever. And then yeah, it was when it got to the point where like a gram a day was the only thing that could keep me going. And I remember I would get paid. I'd get my like $900 paycheck, and then I'd literally call my dealer, and I'd be like, I need this, this, and this. And that's when I got really cool with my dealer and stuff like that, because he just knew I always came through with the money. Always, 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 always. And stuff. So, got to a point where, when I was telling you about where I didn't feed Wesley, or not necessarily didn't feed Wesley, but like, that shit happened. I went to rehab. I got clean. First thing I did when I got out of rehab was fucking use, of course, last video. started talking to Victoria again in a kind of way ish. Had my job back at Sam's Club, ended up getting fired. Last video, of course. Blah blah blah. So shortly after that, like I was telling you, I got with this girl and I cheated on her with Victoria. And that's when this is what I wanted to talk about, because that was the third part. Was so after that I had all this fucking money. I had like $700-800, and it was my plan to kind of get a place, because after I broke up with girl, or she broke up with me or whatever, I mean Victoria started dating again. We just kind of got this hotel, and I was gonna go get this apartment so I could live there and stuff like that. And I was working at Fat Sandwich at the time, so I still had all that Silligan money, but with the Fat Sandwich as well too. So we're just living in this fucking apartment. And then she was like, "Hey, we should get a gram." And I'm like, "I gotta save this money." And she was like, "Come on, let's just get a gram." And I'm like, before you know it, this $700 went down the drain within like 8, 9 days. And I'm living in this fucking hotel, Victoria. And I'm like right back on the full on gram a day user shit. And then like we spent maybe like 2 months ish in this one hotel. It was called the Lincoln Lodge over here in Urbana. And I just remember going through some weird shit, because like Joe would pop up and he'd fucking use with us occasionally. And I'd almost overdose and we'd have to smack his ass out of it, or something like that. And like, we would just hang out at this hotel, and then occasionally Victoria would just disappear for like a day or two, and then she'd come back with her ex-husband or husband Tom, and I'd be like, "What the fuck?" I'd be like, "Where'd you been? What have you been doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I was with Tom." And I'm like, "Oh, you were with Tom, but then you're in a relationship with me." And she's like, "Well, he's my friend." And I'm like, "I can't fucking do this." But yeah, it got basically to the point where we moved into a separate room in the hotel for like extended people who stay there, basically crackheads who fucking live at a hotel and everything like that. So we get shoved in this tiny shittier room because they had nicer rooms and everything like that. And that's when like everything just went all kinds of fucked up. I mean, like, we'd sleep all day long because both me and her work third shift. We do nothing but just try to pick up all the fucking time. And it became like this thing where she would just starve herself, and they had free breakfast at this motel that we lived at. And I go get her breakfast, and she'd be like, "Oh, you want me to get fat?" And she'd just yell at me and throw it down the toilet, and scream at me and other crazy ass fucking shit. And I remember there were like weird moments where like we'd just get into arguments, and then we'd just stop arguing, and then we'd have crazy sex, and then it would be right back to arguing. I remember because Joe was kind of middlemaning between Victoria. Victoria would go pick up drugs and then give them to Joe, and then she'd show up and then give me drugs that she pinched, like she took a little bit off of his, and bring it back to me. And I just lay at the apartment sick as balls, not having anything, until all of a sudden Victoria would show up, and then I'd be able to do a shot. And and it's crazy because I remember this one time, I'm like full on withdrawal, dope sick as fuck. Like, I'm in bed like, oh fuck, like I'm in like full on shit. And I look over, and because we had 2 beds, and I remember Victoria being like perfectly fine. She's just chatting away on her phone, and everything. And I'm just like, why aren't you sick? And she's like, "What do you mean? I'm sick as fuck." And I'm like, "No, you're fucking not. I mean, look at me." And I'm sitting here like, "What? Why aren't you sick?" And then she's like, "I am sick. What's going on?" And then, so me being the crafty motherfucker that I am, I waited for her to fall asleep, and I went searching through her fucking purse. Guess what I find? A fucking half a fucking dope. So I go ahead and grab my fucking needle. I run into the bathroom. I'm trying to like cook up this fucking shot and everything like that. I'm so close to doing the fucking shot, and all of a sudden, kick open the door. Fucking, she's like, what the fuck? And I was just like, you hiding out on me, bitch? I was like, yeah. Like, I was like, no, I fucking kicked her ass and fucking shut the door, fucking did my shot, got right. And then after that, I was just like, seriously, you were fucking keeping out on me this whole entire fucking time? I'm in full on fucking withdrawal and everything like that. And here you are, just perfectly fucking fine. And here's your fucking dope. And everything like that. And she's like, you're a fucking asshole. And I'm like, no, you're a fucking rotten ass fucking cunt. Because you know what? The last time I was fucking sick as balls and you were sick as balls, I give you the last of my dope. Argument. And then she's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to keep dope from you. And I'm just like, yeah, apparently you did, because you let me withdraw for almost 12 fucking hours straight, and then, so basically what happened after that is like, she was like, oh, it's okay, let's do a shot. We did a shot together. And then I just fucking knew it. So it was probably like 2 weeks later, I remember Tom, her ex, or whatever the fuck he was at the time, being over there, and I'm just sitting there just like, what the fuck ever, I don't care. At this point, I started getting my own dope, and I didn't tell her about it because I was just worried, like, oh. And I remember I had my dope on the counter, and I was actually had all my stuff out of my pockets out on the counter and stuff like that. And then I went to go take a piss, and then I came back, my dope was gone. And I was like, what the fuck? And I like cornered Victoria, and I'm like, give me my fucking dope. She's like, I don't fucking got it. And I'm like, into your fucking pockets. And she didn't have it. Figures out Tom took my dope, so yeah, it was crazy. So like a week after that was when fucking, I think she just like full on left. She left me for my best friend, Joe, because at this point, Joe was her only contact to get dope, and she basically just threw me in the trash and got with my best friend. So, and I don't know, it's kind of crazy because we still don't talk to each other anymore. I know he's clean, I'm clean, and everything like that, but it's still crazy because, yeah, fucking crazy. But either way, I'm gonna end it with this. This is part 3 or 4 of the updates to Doom, but still, nonetheless, this is just a smidgen of what's been happening in my life over the last couple years and stuff. So, I mean, there's so much more detail that I could go into, but we'll go with it. From what I can remember and stuff like that. I've been through a lot in my life, so I might look red as a fucking tomato right now. It smells like, do I get the Etch-a-Sketch skin? You see it? I went to an air show with my buddy Matt, and we were just like baking in the sun. And so, yeah, I've just been redder than holy crap the last couple days. But either way, I'll update when I feel like it. Get into this, because, I feel like I was kind of all over the place with the last 2 videos and everything. Kind of just going over like a rough thing, timeline. But either I wanted to go into more details about what's been going on either way. But yeah, see you soon.